Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. And if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Hi, everyone. My name is Monica. I am the founder of Equii. I live in San Francisco Bay Area. And I founded this company, Equii, that I'm happy to share more about.
Awesome. So can you just tell me more about your company, what it does, and how you got the idea for it?
Yes. So let me start with the name then. So Equii comes from the word equal. And the main idea was, how can we have healthy foods, really better for you foods, taste good? Because if they don't taste good, then we don't come back to them, then we don't eat them. So that sort of inspired me to think about better for you foods, but also foods that, we love to eat, like bread, pasta. So Equii creates a wheat flour that has 6 times more protein and 40% less carbs than conventional flour. But protein is, scientifically speaking, different proteins can be differently absorbed, differently, nutritious to our body. So the way we create Equii is it has the highest quality protein that helps build muscle, stay full, stay active. So it really is the good stuff. And we use this flour that we create using fermentation, and then we take it to products like bread, pasta, hopefully many more as it goes. So that's what we do. We bring people foods they love in a much, much healthier format that they would love to eat every day.
For sure. So what specifically gave you the idea for this company?
Yeah. So my background is in biotech. So by training, I'm a biochemical engineer. And what that meant was that for a long time in my career, I was responsible for translating scientific technologies into manufacturing scale. So really taking them out of the lab and as a concept into products. And so when we think of biotechnology, what happens is you identify a product, you try to clone it into a bacteria or a yeast, and then you use the methods of fermentation to scale them up. So I was, you can call me a fermentation expert. I did that for 15 years, and I made a lot of products ranging from fuels, chemicals, cosmetics, vitamins, food oils, and then food proteins. So this was my background. So what gave me the idea was this, background that I had in fermentation, and I wanted to apply it to something bigger, meaning bigger as in impact, like something that can help us. And I looked at me as a consumer and said, okay, what would it be that I would want, from my food? And so when I realized that, when I'm cooking, like I'm cooking a pasta or I'm trying to make a toast, like I'm just always still looking for protein. So if this can be combined through fermentation, that could be such a useful technology to create. So that was sort of the start of idea for Equii.
For sure. But I guess it's one thing to have the idea, but how much testing did you actually do to create this product and just give it to your friends, family? Were you making it a home first? What did all that look like for you?
Yeah, it's a process, like you said, and rightfully called scientific process. So actually, even before I started Equii, I spent almost 6 to 8 months really, reading a lot of research papers to understand whether this is even conceptually possible. And if we go ahead and do it, would it even be directionally correct? So I try to look for evidence in research community for if something like this has been done. And to be honest with you, nothing has been done exactly, but you can find bits and pieces of evidence. So that gave me confidence that the idea would have some merit. And then I started experimenting in my own kitchen, even again, before I launched. And then I launched it because I had some investor backing. And so starting on that foot, I still was very much working in my own kitchen to incorporate this idea that, okay, if we take good protein that comes from some of the microbes and we try to make bread with it, what would it taste like? So that was, a lot of testing went into, because taste is not something you can fix so easily. And so I try to first identify what could be the process, and then whether, it will have some merit, would it taste good? And obviously I was not I'm not the best baker. So when I started it, the bread didn't come out right texturally, but that's where I knew that if I worked with experts, then it could get better. And so over the course of last 2 years of starting Equii, we actually have a lot of people in the team who've lend their baking expertise as well as their expertise in fermentation and in proteins to make bread taste like, smell like, feel like bread, even though it has so much more protein in it.
For sure. So as of today, are you more of like a retail player or direct to consumer, Amazon? Where is most of your business today?
Yeah, I would say like a lot of focus is on really building the brand, because we really see brand, a lot of people see, oh, you're building a brand or you're not, as a business model. And of course that is true, but I really want to go a layer deeper. It's a way of expression of all the good we want to bring. Because when you start a company, it's not just about, oh, here's an idea, let's implement it, right? It's more than that. You really want to create an impact. That's what drives us. So the brand allows us to communicate to the consumer, like, somebody like yourself who's hearing about Equii for the first time and say, okay, tell me more about it. The brand allows us to put it in front of you visually and say, look, here's a bread that looks like bread and it tastes like bread, but has 6 times more protein and 40% less carbs. And so immediately it creates a connection. So that's what I would say is, I guess, our front one foot forward. But I want to be honest with you and tell you that as we have been building this brand, people have started to realize that our core power is in the flour. And, the flour as an ingredient is so widely used that we've seen interest from a lot of companies who want to use the flour, whether, for some other baking purpose or some other application. So it's been really exciting to kind of the idea sort of spawning other ideas as well as it's going by.
Right. But I'm saying in terms of like your actual, you could say sales, is it more in this B2B play right now, or is it retail in stores, or is it Amazon direct to consumer for, from your website? Like where, I guess, in terms of strategy, you could say are your biggest channels right now?
We're very focused on this business to consumer, so B2C, but we did start with e-com, and we are maintaining a presence on e-com because, it takes us some time to bring the bread to all parts of the country. So e-commerce allows us to reach a lot of people. So we continue to be strong on e-commerce, but at the same time, we're starting to bring the bread in retail stores in Northern California, Chicago, New York City, somewhere close to you through Central Market very soon. So it's starting to spread, but yeah, e-commerce, and then also like as we get into more categories, pasta is our next category. So we really hope that e-commerce would really, really help spread that product fast to our community rapidly.
For sure. So in terms of e-commerce, right? So how have you gotten the word out? Have you run ads, PR? Like how do people actually find out about your brand?
Yes. So, to be honest, most of the outreach so far has been organic. It's mostly from whether it's the posts, we've written on LinkedIn, or some of the publicity you can say we've gotten, whether through press or, for example, from Oprah trying the bread, and then a lot of people coming to our site, trying the product through that. So there's been a lot of organic publicity right now. But now, as we are starting to get established in the channel, we are really, trying to build that side of the business for paid social, for digital marketing, etc.
For sure. So what would you say is like the biggest challenge you currently face in the business?
Yeah, I would say there are like 2 or 3 challenges. So number one, so as I said, right, the original idea was to bring healthy, better for you foods in common categories. So I think the number one challenge is that people don't expect to see protein in this category. So if you think about from a digital marketing perspective, we're going to find what we search for. And so really, like, we have to do the work to cultivate this awareness that protein can be now found outside of, the traditionally known categories of meat or dairy, eggs, or even like shakes and bars through something as simple as bread or pasta. So I would say awareness and education is the number one challenge, and to do that on a mass scale, and to do that across demographics, across age, is also challenging because different age groups respond to different types of content, right? So that's challenge number one. Challenge number two is especially, and this is maybe much more specific to bread, but bread as a product is somewhat heavier than, let's say, a pasta would be, or maybe, cookies, etc. So the problem is that it does involve shipping expenses. And so this is something we've tried to share with our customers, but it is kind of a barrier to entry then in terms of cost. So that's why the effort to bring the same bread to the consumer at much more reduced price into and through retail stores is ultimately, we think, going to be the winning strategy in bread. And number three, I would say, is a little bit there's been a false marketing. So there's a lot of false marketing around us. So we just have to continue to push through that and let people know that the protein that they get from Equii is the real kind. Like it's truly equivalent to the one that their body desires from a nutrition perspective. It's very easy to digest. Like there's no potential of allergy, etc., that's known and associated. So again, it's about awareness. It's about spreading the word.
For sure. So obviously now that we're wrapping up Q1 of 2024, like you mentioned, obviously getting into some retailers, but I guess besides that, what are some of your big goals for this year for it to be successful for you?
Yes, great question. So, number one goal is really continue to see the penetration of Equii bread into retail stores. So our goal is to get into, about 500 stores. So hopefully we can do that this year, and it's looking like we should be able to hit that. But execution is always complex, especially, with supply chains being so complex. So we want to make sure that we definitely see through this primary goal. Then there are some other goals. For example, we want to bring our pasta into the e-commerce channel and start having consumer try it. So that involves a lot of thought process around launch and packaging and all the work that goes behind bringing a product. So that's the number two goal. And number three, we want to also I guess take this initial position in bread and expand it into bakery, because the flour is really potent and it tastes very good when it's brought through something like a bagel or a bun, like a brioche bun or a dinner roll or a ciabatta or things like that. And we have a very, I would say, we have the perfect partner for us in this journey, which is Bredor. Bredor is currently selling these products to in-store bakery across a lot of, big retailers. So we want to continue to build that partnership into a success story through this year and later.
For sure. So obviously nowadays, many companies are using high level technology like AI. So at Equii, do you guys use AI? And if not, where could AI maybe come and add value to your company?
Yes, and I mean, AI is the zeitgeist, right? And AI is the future, and I truly believe in that. And so AI, I would say, would be impactful for Equii in a few different ways. So actually already, maybe if not exactly AI, but machine learning is something that we have used in our technology platform. So many people may not know this, but this whole, technology to create the flour at Equii is a complex process that we've created. And so it starts by discovering the right kind of fermenting agent, which is, usually a microbe. And so what we do is we study the DNA and convert it into a protein quality score so that we are bringing only the best quality proteins, the right kind of, aminos, etc., to our consumers. And so that did involve a lot of machine learning. So we definitely have the roots of AI into our discovery platform. And what we want to do is, so right now we're very focused on the products, but as we grow the R&D platform, we want to bring the AI capabilities to allow us to read more and more complex data sets of genomes, even, higher organisms, other properties, and then fixing the errors, increasing fidelity, etc. So I do see the role of AI as on the tech side. But then I want to say one thing is I'm actually really excited about the potential of AI in marketing. I think that a lot of marketing that's happening now can leverage AI. And I'd love to be, in awareness of what's coming new there and how can a company like Equii leverage it, because I think it could be such a meaningful resource for smaller companies where we don't have unlimited budgets to use some of the AI potential to create content, write content, and disseminate content.
Do you feel like AI could add value? Like if somebody lands like on your website and they have questions about the ingredients or about the product,
Yeah.
it's like if somebody was like asking questions and I guess leveraging like an AI chat to ask about the product.
Yeah, those actually we're already starting to implement. So
Awesome.
the Shopify platform allows you through their apps to bring that on. So we definitely are bringing AI-based customer experience particularly. And where it helps a lot is it actually curates the question so that the next customer who comes and may have a question can probably find it in the database. So I love all this genius of AI. And, obviously, I think a lot of people are doing that, but companies need a lot of marketing help, copy help. And so Bard Gemini now and ChatGPT are great tools. So I want to say like the imprint of AI is potentially already there on our website. And then Shopify, especially as a company, Shopify is starting to also bring a lot of these components in. So we would definitely be the beneficiaries of that.
For sure. So what would you say is like the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this company?
I want to say like, I know a lot of people say this, but I think and I believe, and I've seen this firsthand, a company is nothing without people. So therefore, if there is an advice I want to give to a young entrepreneur, I want to say like put a lot more thought and a lot more effort in hiring. And when you hire the right people, work double, triple hard to keep them, to preserve them, to make them your true partners for as long as it's possible. Because ultimately, we're all a sum of the people and the team that we have.
Awesome. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website or social media? I guess best ways to get in contact.
Yes, you can find us at www.equii.com, EQUII. And then you can always reach out to us at info@equii.com if there's any question. Personally, I'm available at monica@equii.com. And then our social media, we would love if you can give us a shout out at Instagram, equi_foods, or TikTok is the same thing. And also, if you are hearing about Equii for the first time, please try it. See if it can change your protein game. I promise you wouldn't want to look at any other, bread after that. Potentially, that's what we strive for here. But also, like if you go and subscribe to our newsletter online, there'll be a discount that will allow you to, try Equii for a small price, and hopefully that can help you see the benefits of what we do.
Awesome, Monica, and we're rooting for you guys. And thank you so much for your time today.
Very nice to meet you, Dan, and talk to you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, bye.